I got my meat cooking right here. Progressive overload doesn't actually stop working. It just looks like it's stopping when someone else becomes the limit factor. Most lifters think that training harder but harder isn't the same thing as creating a better stimulus for adaptation. Early on, progressive is easy. You add weight, almost every session your body is far from its limit. But as you get more trained, every bit of progress causes every recovery more precise and more planning. That's where things start to feel stuck. One of the biggest reasons is recovery mismatch. You can push harder in the gym, but if your sleep, food, and rest days don't scale with that effort, your body can't actually recover the stress into strength. Training is just a signal. Adaptation happens when recovered. If you're constantly slightly under recovered, you don't lose strength, but you also don't express new strength. So it feels like overload stopped working when really you're just not fully rebuilding between sessions. Another issue is the misunderstanding of what overload means. A lot of people think it only means adding weight, but progressive overload is broader than that. It includes additional reps with the same weight, improving form, range of motion, increasing total sets of weekly volume, lifting the same weight with effort, controlled tempo, better tension if someone is only trying to add weight while everything else is chaotic. They eventually hit the wall. The system has no structure, so progression becomes random instead of planned. Then there's fatigue, masking strength gains. This one confuses a lot of lifters. You might actually be stronger than last month, but accumulated fatigue hides it. High effort session training, too close to failure all the time, or never taking a lighter week builds up so much neural and muscular fatigue that performance stalls. It's trying to sprint while wearing a weighted backpack you never take off. A deload or even a few easy sessions often reveals the strength was there all along. Another factor is diminishing returns. Early gains are fast because your body is learning movement patterns and building basic muscle. Later on, progression shows dramatically. Adding 5 pounds to a lift when you're new is easy. Adding 5 pounds when you're already strong is a biological demand. So lifters interpret slower progression has no progress, even though progress is happening, just at a different rate. You also programming issues. A lot of lifters don't have a clear progression model. They try to work out last week every time, that works for a while, but eventually it turns into a random stress, accumulation instead of structured overload. On the flip side, some of the people do the exact same routine for months without adjusting volume, intensity, or variation, and their body fully adapts, meaning there's no stimulation to respond to. Technique is another hidden limit. Adding weights go up, small breakdown is a form can stop true overload. You might think you're lift heavy, but target muscles actually being challenged the same way anymore. Instead, other muscles or momentum are taking over. So the number goes up by the quantity of the stimulus doesn't. Finally, nutrition over life stress matters more than people think. If you're not eating enough protein, calories, or carbs, your body fully doesn't have the resources to rebuild stronger tissues. Even if your training is perfect, recovery capacity is capped. And life stress, schoolwork, poor sleep, and your nervous system is already partially fatigued before you even touch a weight. So the key is this progressive overload doesn't stop. Your ability to express progressive overload gets blocked. When lifters get stuck, it's usually not because they need to try harder. It's because they need one or more of these adjustments. Better recovery, sleep, food, rest days, more structured progression instead of random effort plan deloads or lighter weeks, clearer tracking of reps, sets, weight over time, cleaner technique under heavy loads, realistic expectations about slow advanced progress. The lifters who keep progressing long term aren't the ones who constantly max out effort. They're the ones who manage fatigue, track progress precisely, and apply overload in small, consistent measurement steps, not emotional ones. So we got our meats cooking right here. It's frozen, but we're getting it back to being thawed slowly. So yeah, progressive overload, it becomes typical when you get your sleep and your rest and your full days of nutrition. Right here, I'm getting my full day of nutrition. So we're about to start on the water, boiling the noodles. We're gonna fill this baby up with water. Turn on our stove. And we have to boil the water first before we put in the noodles. And bring this to a boil. Since our meat was frozen, we gotta add the seasoning in it later. I don't have onions or bell pepper. This is just gonna have to do. I wish I did. Okay, our water is finally boiling. Whoa, I almost dropped the phone in there. Our water is finally boiling. Our meat is done. Now let's add the noodles. Uh-oh. Now we wait for the noodles to get done. I did add a little bit of salt in there in the water so the noodles won't stick as much. But we have to keep mixing the noodles so they won't stick. And then we're gonna drain them and then we're gonna assemble. The noodles are almost done. See? And now we wait. Do ba-doo 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 ba-doo. So the Spurs are playing against OKC. I thought I missed the final the last time because I fell asleep on the last game. But apparently I didn't miss it all the way. So that's good because I want to see them cut the net off the rim. That's what I want to see. Let's see if the noodles are done now. They're almost done. Okay, our noodles are done. Now it's time to drain them. Which I'm looking for my other hand thing. And I don't know where it's at. So we have to improvise. Where is it? Okay, it's time to drain the noodles. Noodles are drained. Now let's add in our meat. And let's add in our sauce. And let's mix it all together. Turn off the stove. And dinner is served. And look at that. There we go. Let's taste test. That's the spot.